it's another year. So happy to see everybody back for the Year Live Event Robotics Show. And how else are we going to kick this season off but to have a conversation with uh, first regional director? That's the correct title, correct for you?
Yes.
Perfect. First regional director, Nicole. And we just had a whole like 2 minute thing about your last name, and I completely forgot it. So if
It's
you don't mind introducing yourself for me,
I am Nicole Shasso.
Nicole Shasho. There
Yes,
we go. Because I almost just called you Nicole Picasso because
it rhymes with Picasso.
that's how
That's
she
what I
said
tell
it.
everybody.
And it's so perfect, but the only thing I could think of was Picasso. Then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna butcher your
Maybe
name.
it's time to change my name. I can
No,
just be
absolutely not. It's a
Nicole Picasso.
fantastic name. No reason, no reason to. But well, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. Uh, really happy to talk with you and everything like that. Now, real quick, just for people who are just kind of tuning in for the first time and everything else, could you explain a little bit what FIRST is?
Sure, absolutely. So STEM is first and foremost, or STEM first is first and foremost a STEM education nonprofit. We're an international nonprofit in so many countries right now and growing fast that I just can't even keep track of it. Um, the tool that we use to teach STEM education is robots. We have programs that are all the way from preschool through high school. I specifically focus on the first robotics competition level, which is the high school level. But we have programs that go all the way down into the little ones. We actually partner with Legos to offer robotics programs to the little kids. So First Lego League is for the youngest kids, and then First Tech Challenge is for roughly middle school kids. But there's a lot of flexibility within there based on what teachers, schools, and communities need. So we focus on STEM education. We also focus a lot on workforce and life preparation, meaning that a lot of our teams are structured to follow the business model. So you're going to have people on the team who are building, but you're also going to have people on the team who are designing and writing for the high school level, writing business plans, doing the fundraising, the marketing, things like that. So the intention is that it's our founder says we're not using kids to build robots, we're using robots to build kids. The robots are our tool that we use to build our kids.
And we've been doing this show for 2+ years now. This is our third year with it, and I will say this: like going back to the last thing you said there, you're using robots to help build these kids.
Yep.
Um, a lot of the mentors that I talk to, and even a lot of the kids are fantastic. You like, my goodness, you sit them down in a room and they are. I hate even calling them kids. Like they are young professionals. They really, really are. They're absolutely magnificent. Um, and I forget which mentor was saying this, but in the same vein of you're using robots to build these kids up and everything like that. Um, one of the mentors told me like, "Hey, we are building the uh, we're we're building the next generation of like people that you want to hire." And the
Yes,
instant they said that, I was like, "Oh my goodness, they're 100% right." Like every single one of
absolutely.
these students and kids are just getting so much tools in their lively and professional toolbox going through this, um, going through robotics and everything else. Now, you mentioned STEM. Can you go a little bit like what is STEM?
Sure. STEM or STEAM, some have made that adaptation. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. STEAM adds in arts to that concept, but the focus is on the technical. So the science, technology, engineering, and math, but it's the technology and technical are the same, seem like the same terms, but it's the very logical thought process behind the what goes into those 4 or 5 fields. So when we talk about STEM, a lot of people think robotics, well, sure, that's manufacturing. But if you've been to the doctor lately, you know that it's not just manufacturing. If you've used any of the AI tools, if you have programmed anything ever, even if it's just figuring out how to make your phone work, which these kids are a whiz at, um, it's all of those skills that you need to make the technical in our world work, and it's everywhere. It's not just manufacturing. So, like I had mentioned previously, our teams are composed of not just the builders and the tinkerers. They include the electrical team. They include the CAD team. They include the machining team. They include the marketing, programming, fundraising, all that kind of good stuff, so that all of the students, even if they are not comfortable with touching a robot like me, they have a place in our program because it takes everybody to make a business run, and it takes everybody to make a robotics team run successfully. So it really is about developing the skills. Many people have stopped by our events, which are free and open to the public. And as soon as they talk to our students, they are just blown away. We have got absolutely incredible students that are involved in our teams. We have a saying that in a lot of sports, high school sports and programs, not everyone goes pro. It is a very small percentage of students who go pro. In robotics, in our program, everybody goes pro. They all become part of the workforce. They all lean into the skills that they have learned at robotics or at the robotics club in order to become a professional in their career field. So we have 100% go pro rate.
In again, I mean, we've talked about it. We can gush about how amazing the students are and the kids and going further in their career. Because again, how many times I've talked with mentors that have come back to give back to this program that has given so much, and they're telling me like, yeah, no, I work for this, this, and this, and I was like, well, you got all the tools from it, during this. I mean, it is really, really awesome. And I say it constantly. I always go, where was this when I was in high
Yep.
school or whatever? Because I would have done this for sure. Now, Nicole, let's get a little, if you don't mind getting a little bit personal. How did you find first? How did you get to your position?
Sure. So my entire career has been focused on youth nonprofit work, very specifically in workforce development, and helping our young adults find their path and the skills that they need to get to those paths. So the first is exactly what that is all about. So when it was time to find a new position for me to share my skills, first popped right up, and yeah, the more research I did, the more amazing it was. And the first time I went to an event and talked to students, I also was just as blown away as everybody else. Like, I will admit, I am not technical. So there were conversations where my eyes just glassed over. And I was like, sure, I'll believe everything you tell me because it involves terminology that I've never heard of before in my life. But the fact that these students were getting in there and putting their hands on and figuring out what the trouble was and problem solving and writing business plans in high school, like just beyond imagining for me. So, yeah, I continue to be blown away every time I have a conversation with students, but it very much has fit especially at the high school level. This is all about workforce development and making our students and our future career ready.
And again, I mean, it's so this could be a 30-second interview, to be quite honest, because honestly, like at the end of the day, it works. Like
It works.
it works. That's what it is. It works, but it, we can't just have a 30-second conversation and then say
That
goodbye.
would be really boring.
Yes. So let me ask you this: when you you got in, you went to your first event competition, you talked with the students. again, another term that I've heard a lot is like, once you drink that Kool-Aid, you drunk the Kool-Aid, right?
Yes.
Okay,
You
so
got the,
you drink the Kool-Aid, you see what it is, you see what it's all about. Um, in your in your opinion, what is something that you're like super prideful of, like, okay, this, like, they're getting this, or something like that. What are you the most prideful of when it comes to your position?
uh, for me, um, the thing that brings the point home the most for me is that we have got so many adult professionals who believe in the program so much that they we never have issues finding people who are willing to show up at meetings and show students how to run a 3D printer or program their robot, or like we absolutely have adults in the work world right now who see our students and their potential and commit to giving back to that because they also go there and talk to the students and see that it works. And the beauty of it is that it's kind of like this big circle because it's because of their involvement that it works, because they're in the workforce, they're seeing it, they know what students need, and they are in turn mentoring our students to prepare them for that world. So there are so many believers in this program once they get in there and see the impact and see the students that come out of this program. It's incredible. Yeah, we've got a lot of followers, including a lot of really, really amazing business sponsors who they think the same thing. They see our students, they talk to our students, and they know these are the students we want in our workforce. We want these students in our office, on our factory floor, in our healthcare centers. We want them. They know what they're doing.
Yes, 100%. And that in again, going back to, you listed off not every single, but a lot of it's not just building, it's not just controlling the road, it's not just playing the game, it's all this other stuff. I mean, uh, for the first, when I finally realized that, like, oh wow, there's this like whole business side and like marketing side, and with that, I'm
Mhm.
like, man, I know when I was a high schooler, I'm like, I can't call up blank company and do all this, but no, it's such an interesting, it is really honestly a very interesting experience, and it seems like um it it fast tracks, it grows the students up real quick, but in a really fun and safe way, I think.
Yes. Yep. And guided by mentors who have been there, done that, and care enough to make sure they get there. I mean, we have, I just had mentioned the businesses. We have business partners who have developed internship programs specifically for students because they want our students there. And that is the requirement to get in the door, is to be involved with first. And you've got major corporations that are putting our students as interns into their workforce. It's a win-win for everybody.
It truly is. It's a win-win, and like we keep on stating, like, look, it sounds like a lot of business, everything else, but I promise you, it's so much fun to see it, to just watch it, but to be a part of it. Like I see the kids at the events and everything. Like, you can see it in their eyes. They're having as much fun as possible, and
Yeah. And
yeah.
you think it's robotics that can't, what, I mean, like, really, what are you going to do? Oh my goodness. No, you walk in the door and there's lights and there's music and there's people in costumes and there's students with tool belts and there, I mean, it is just not what you are expecting. It's like a game show almost, like it's just so exciting and energetic and fun, but it's also incredibly intense technical. They are tinkering and solving problems and replacing batteries and blown out motors, and like it's incredible to just watch and see it all happen.
No, 100%. It is incredible to watch. Now, uh, speaking on that, anything, so we're getting started. The build season's already happening. The announcement for the new game is already happening, has
Yep.
already happened. But anything we're looking forward, anything special this year that maybe is a little bit different from last year, or is it all just going to be, hey, it's going to be all the same fun?
Well, of course, it's going to be the same fun, but First has been around for over 30 years, and for over 30 years, people have wanted a water game. They got a water game this year. And the theme is the ocean. Specifically for the high school level, it's called Reefscape, and our game pieces are coral. Um, and they're putting the coral on the reefs, and yeah, so oh, and algae. We have algae game pieces, which are not actually coral and algae. They're a ball and a PVC pipe, but still the analogy.
Right.
So that is the excitement of this year, specifically for our area. So I oversee Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Between us and then our neighbors in Wisconsin and Iowa, we have got really, really strong high school level program. What that means is that we have a huge demand for events in this area. And so this year we actually added a new event. We have a new regional, our sixth regional just within our three-state area. And next year we're already talking about and crossing our fingers that we can add a seventh because our robotics programs are so are so strong that they want to have two or three opportunities to compete to go to our national championship. So the demand for more and the quality of the events continues to just grow and grow.
That is awesome. So we're getting an extra one this year. Like you said, fingers crossed for next year, we're getting another one.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, in Minnesota, North Dakota, and the neighbor in our neighboring states and everything like that. Like it is, what do you think actually, like, why do you think it's so like big here?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back a little bit in the time machine, and way back in 2008, our founder Dean Kamen came to Minnesota and was a keynote speaker at a Boston Scientific gathering. I believe it was an annual meeting, but I wasn't there. So if I'm wrong, Dean's gonna have to correct me. Um, and at the time, he basically spoke up to all of these. It was not just Boston Scientific people. It was CEOs of corporations that were very active in Minnesota and continue to be active. And he said, hey, you guys are a major state in terms of STEM and corporations. Why do you not have first? And so even though it started in Minnesota, its borders are just a line on the map. It doesn't really mean anything. The growth that happened after that point, because our business community said, you're right, this is important, we need it. This friend talked to this friend, talked to this business partner, talked to this person at this meeting. And between the explosive growth in Minnesota and then all of the adjacent stuff that happened after that, this is a really, really strong area for first robotics competition. Our businesses saw that it was the right thing, and they made the investment that made it possible for our volunteers, our mentors, and our students to get involved. We still have an incredibly involved business community, whether it's volunteers or mentors or sponsoring teams or even sponsoring the region for programs. We have an incredibly dedicated group of businesses that make sure that we continue to be successful.
Yeah. I I hate it. It's one of those things where it's very hard for me to find like the proper words where it's just like, man, it's just nothing but positive. But no, 100%. It is like it is very big. It's very awesome that it is as big as it is. But Nicole, before I let you go, any last thoughts, anything you want to share that we didn't get a chance to touch on or anything like that?
Absolutely. So we've been talking about all this amazing stuff, and if you've not seen it in action, you're going to want to do that. So all of our regional events are free and open to the public. You can come and see it. You can bring your family. You can bring your kids. You can bring your nephew's best friend, whatever, and inspire your own future because, they're going to be taking care of you eventually. All of our events are listed on our website. It's frcnorthland.org. So if you go on there, you're going to see all 6 of our events. Granted, 2 of them, we have a double in Duluth in 2 weeks from today. That is the largest regional event outside of championship in anywhere in the world. So It's big. We're going to have 108 teams there. You're going to want to come see this. But you can get to any of the events. And if you are closer to other events, we've got neighbors that obviously you can take part of their events as well. They are all free and open to the public, and we encourage you to come. We encourage you to go into the pits with safety glasses, and talk to our students and see the robots and see what they're capable of, and talk to our volunteers and our mentors and see how absolutely amazing it is. So go check it out. We will see you at one of our events at some point starting in 2 weeks and going through the beginning of April.
And again, like you said, that starts in 2 weeks. The closest thing to start is, I believe it's week 0. There's a few week zeros happening this
Yes.
week, and maybe even
Yes.
next week as well.
Yep.
But man, I mean, it's starting. It's a lot of fun. Like Nicole said, hey, go check it out. It's the only thing I can tell you to do. Go check it out. Go live in person. Uh, I have always equated it to, it is a rock concert with robots. That's what it is.
Yep.
It's really, really fun, everything else. But
Yep.
seriously, Nicole, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me, answer some of my questions. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. I love talking about our students. So thank you for that opportunity.
Absolutely. And for everybody else, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At Enbridge, we're focused on relationships. 23 Canadian First Nation and Métis communities now own an equity stake in Enbridge Athabasca Pipelines. In Minnesota, Enbridge has spent $450 million and counting with Native-owned companies and in wages to tribal members working on Line 3. Every day brings new collaborations, partnerships, and possibilities. Learn more at Enbridge.com.
I'm PJ Rund, and I live in Mission Court in Ada, Minnesota. Here, a lot of people like it here. Well, what could be better?
I'm Molly, and I have lived here a little over 3 years now. I like the fact that I don't have stairs or elevators, and there's always some activities around here.
You can't help but like it here. That's what I say.
Gordon Construction of Mahnomen is a Native American-owned business proudly operating on the White Earth Indian Reservation since 1983. As a bonded general contractor, Gordon Construction provides years of experience in large, detailed, and within-budget projects. Gordon Construction is committed to the safety of its employees and the environment of its work sites. To learn more about Gordon Construction of Mahnomen, visit gcmahnomen.com or call 218-935-2191.
And right now, we're glad to be joined by mentor Matt Craig. And Matt is from Moorhead, Minnesota, with the Spudnik Robotics Club. Thanks, Matt, for joining us here. And Matt's in his 11th year. It's 12th year of the program. So thanks, Matt, for joining us here. And we got 2 members of the Robotics Club joining us as well. But Matt, maybe talk about your members. How many members you got? How's the program going in its 12th year right now?
So it's going really well. We've got roughly 20 people on the team this season. So we're about back to where we were pre-COVID. First year after COVID, we had 4 people on the team, and then about 10, and then about 15 last year. And this year we're up 20, which is a really good size to be at. We've got a good mix of returning students and some really enthusiastic new students. Some of those are freshmen. Some of them are a little further along, but have just started doing robotics.
Okay, awesome. And then you're getting ready for some upcoming, I guess give us your upcoming schedule. You're going to be in Duluth in 2 weeks, right?
Yep, 2 weeks from tomorrow, we pack up for Duluth, and then that Duluth competition will be Thursday to do some practices, and then Friday and Saturday are the matches. And then 2 weeks later, March 13th, we head to Grand Forks for another competition.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Matt. We're going to move to Jonah now, and he's a senior. Thanks, Jonah, for joining us here. And Jonah, why don't you give us some, how the robotics are coming along for this year now?
It's coming together quite good this year. It's definitely a lot more progress than in years past, as right now feels like we're getting pretty close to getting it completed, getting it fully able to be handed over to coding. In previous years, it's been kind of a really quick race at the end to try and finish it up as much as possible before going to competition.
Maybe explain how the design processes are going this year compared to last year.
Yeah, it feels like they've been going a lot better than years past. At the start, we immediately sat down. We were like, looked at the game quite closely for a day. Then that day, we kind of made decisions on what exactly we want to focus on, with the next day coming in to figuring out designs for this, where we are in small groups, kind of figuring out design, then proposing it, having people kind of look at, maybe suggesting things, and then starting to get into the prototyping right after that. And also this year, there's been a lot more work in CAD to make sure that our parts are fitting together beforehand and not having like kind of mismatching on the fly, having to try and figure out how those are going to come together.
Can you tell us what projects you're working on right now?
Right now we're working on wiring up the robot. So getting all the stuff wired up. We're working on a climber, trying to get that more in a finalized stage with kind of what we learned from the prototype of it. Then the other project is going to be finishing our algae manipulator and attaching that to the robot.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jonah. Now we'll go to Levi. So Levi, also a senior, joining us. Thanks, Levi, for taking time and chatting with us here. Levi, maybe give us some goals for the Spudnik Robotics Club.
So I think a lot of the goals are this year are to, especially for this first competition, get the newer members kind of some practice with driving, getting a feel for what the competition's like, and then just seeing what all kind of can go wrong with the robot or get improved. And I know a lot for this year with having more than a few seniors who are going to be graduating, just getting the newer members to really get a lot of experience doing as much as they can so that next year they're ready for it.
So now I think everybody has a certain role, so maybe talk about your role, Levi.
So most of what I do is kind of more of the fabrication of like physical parts. So cutting things, bolting it together. I work a lot with Jonah where we'll both be fabricating and manufacturing just different physical aspects of the robot.
And what do you like best about the Robotics Club?
What do I like best? I think a lot of what I like is the kind of relationships I've built with a lot of the people. So like I only joined last year, and my freshman and sophomore year I had been in lacrosse, but this year last year I had a lot more fun with it than I did in the last like 5 years of lacrosse, just because of the people that I was around.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Levi. Jonah, we should probably ask you your role and what do you like best about the Robotics Club too?
My role has been a lot of fabrication. It started out first like kind of lift electronics and fabrication, but I've been more closely now doing working on fabricating stuff.
Also driving.
Oh yeah, I've been also driving. Been on the drive team for like last probably 3 years. My freshman year I was technician, then like the last 2 years I've been actually driving or being the coach.
And what's your favorite thing about robotics, being in the Robotics Club?
I think my favorite thing has been all the new stuff I've learned. We have a lot of great industrial tech classes here, but robotics, you're able to learn a lot more different stuff maybe from what you would learn. You're able to practice it, do more of it. And you're also, with the smaller size, you're able to get a bit more one-on-one with someone to teach you how to do stuff.
You specialize a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. And then one more question before we let you go. What do you guys, we got to ask both of you. Jonah, what do you think of the water game?
I'm surprised that they did it. It's definitely I guess the way they've implemented this year makes, I guess, the most amount of sense. Kind of sad not seeing some actual water out there on the field.
Yeah, all right. And then Levi too, what do you think?
When I saw the reveal video, I think my first or second thought was, that's an interesting take on water games. And like Jonah said, I'm kind of sad I didn't even see like a squirt pistol or anything because I was hoping it. At bare minimum, I was hoping the human players could throw water balloons at each other.
All right. All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks, Jonah and Levi. We appreciate it. Matt, let's get Matt back on here one more time before we sign off. Matt, how do you become a member of the robotics club? Do you like hold meetings or how does that all work?
So when we're trying to recruit new students, we hold an open house in the fall that we put signs up around the school for, and we put in the announcements, and then people come in and they'll spend a few minutes learning how to solder or designing and doing a 3D print or making bracelets out of chain or learning how to fasten things together. We just have a bunch of different activities that they can try to find a aspect of the team that feels like a good fit for them.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much, you guys, for joining us. We appreciate it. Anything else you want to add at all, or everybody good?
Think we're good.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck in your practice and competitions coming up too. So,
thanks very much.
Thank you. Yep, you bet. We'll see you.
Bye.
And we're here on the YLE Live Event Robotics Show here talking with Team 6132, the Crosby Ironton Ranger Robotics. And how are you guys doing today?
How are you?
I'm doing good. It's kind of cold outside, I know. And
yeah.
So how are you guys feeling going into week 0?
Pretty confident. Our robot's really close to being done, and we should do pretty good at week 0.
Yeah, we finally got like the elevator put together and everything ready for our robots, and the code was already ready, so hopefully we'll have a couple test drives before then, but we're ready to get climbing and get into action.
A lot more confident than we were last year at week 0.
Oh,
yeah.
We feel pretty confident this year.
Oh yeah.
We feel like we're gonna have a pretty good robot even for week 0.
So what got you guys first? Like what first got you guys interested in robotics and wanted to be part of this and do this thing?
Personally, for me, I was never super interested in robotics, but then Taylor kind of got me into robotics, and then I joined, and I really liked the atmosphere.
For me, I didn't have like a winter activity, and I like tried a bunch of different things, and I just like couldn't find like my right fit. And then one day, one of my friends, he was like going to robotics. I was like, I'll join you, and then I really enjoyed it and felt like I belonged there and been in it ever since.
Yeah, I kind of have like a similar to both of these people because I quit basketball in 8th grade to kind of do robotics because some of my friends are in it. And it's just been fun having friends in it and actually having something to do after school.
So how long have the Ranger Robotics, how long have you guys had the robotics team at Crosby Ironton?
Oh, this is
well, I know 2016.
2016.
Yeah, we started in like 2016, 2015 maybe.
Maybe before
about 10
but
years.
we've had one since then.
I took a semester of robotics. I'm from Pequot Lakes originally. I took a semester of it. I wasn't wasn't the best at it, but that's why I'm in radio, I guess. But so I'd like you guys are competing in Duluth, right? There's that in a couple of weeks. How do you guys feel about that?
Kind of similar to week 0. This should be a good event compared to last year.
We feel like very confident in our robot this year, and we think that we have a really good robot and that we're going to do pretty well. And we've spent lots of time this year, like making sure like everything is good and with things we're like not just like doing it mediocre, we're doing it well, so it's perfect because we want to do it right the first time and not have anything mess up. Because last year our robot sheared like 16 bolts.
Yeah, we cut a couple corners last year and it showed.
And so we're just like putting in the extra effort to make sure we don't run into any problems this year.
Yeah, it's been a lot of late nights on CAD and troubleshooting parts on because I mean these days some shipping methods aren't as fast as others. And if you go through one of those, you got to figure out, well, this very important part isn't getting here until like the day before we leave for competition. So what can we do in the meantime to make sure we have time for everything? So it's been a lot of thought this year.
So how many, so three of you guys, do you guys have like each have a separate role you do on the team? And what would that be?
I kind of have a separate role, but not entirely. Me and
Mhm.
Taylor have been helping with merchandise for the last 3 or 4 years, and this year I made a new flag for the team and got us a new banner for our station. And I also helped make the station, kind of set up the layout for it so we have enough room for working efficiently with other people on our team. And then with actually helping make the robot, I'm kind of just like an insider, just going around where help's needed.
Yeah, with Spencer, like we're kind of like the merchandise team. Like we design the sweatshirts, the shirts, like pins, bracelets. He also does the financing.
Can't forget about that.
And also like I help like build if they need help. Like I helped build the elevator, and I did a little bit of the bumpers and just help where it is needed.
Yeah, I would suppose that I'm kind of bumper person because it was back when we were like first, like when we were a pretty new team, because all the seniors had graduated and kind of left the younger kids to, do whatever. I knew how to sew, and I was the only one on the team who knew how to sew, and they wanted some special bumpers made, so I kind of got put in charge of that. And now that has evolved to just designing the bumpers and getting them put on the robot.
So when you guys go to compete at these competitions, do you have any favorite teams that you compete against, or that like anybody that sticks out, that you want to talk about?
Right there, Nemesis.
Pequot, isn't it Pequot?
It's Pequot, yeah.
Pequot.
Pequot, those guys are
Patriot
super good.
Robotics or
Yeah,
something.
those guys are really good.
The Patriotics, yeah.
They've been pretty competitive the past couple years.
There's some really good teams.
I don't know them off the top of my head, but we had a couple good
But there's
alliances going
definitely
last year.
ones like once I see them, like I remember that team and that's really good. Like we do, like when we go to the competitions, we do scout and make forms and like star like teams that we really like.
Yeah.
And just like keep those on the top of our heads, like they would be good alliances.
Yeah, that was new as of last year. We started scouting for teams on the off chance we would get to the top 10 and we could go to the next.
Yeah.
So how many people generally is on your team every year?
This year we got quite a few new people.
20, 25, something like that? No, is that too much?
I would say
15 to
25 to 30, honestly.
Because
But like,
we have like a couple younger.
yeah.
We got a lot more younger students on this one, but we have probably about 25, 30 people.
Yeah, because I would say like when we were younger, I mean, there was a couple older kids, but we kind of made up the team.
Yeah, our like 9th grade year is like our first. We were the whole team. It was all of us freshmen and like 2 sophomore.
Four
like we've been kind of the whole team, so we have to like. It's hard trying to find like. We found a lot of like younger kids to take over for us, especially next year, because like most of the drive team, most of like all the like people are seniors, so you have to like pass it down. And
yeah, all of our very knowledgeable people of robotics are
except
going.
Ben.
We have some really nice younger students though that know a lot. Teach them our ways.
A lot of younger girls are interested in it, where it's like us. Like I was the only girl in it for a while until I got Cadence.
So is there anything that you guys like to teach the younger members on the team? Like you guys like pull, do you guys, are you guys mentors towards them? And
trying to teach them what we know so they can have a good year next year.
Especially
And
when
years
they're
to follow
like
that.
sitting and like doing nothing. We're like, okay, like come watch us do this, and like or have them watch us and like tell them like what we're doing and like describe it or like teach them stuff, like so they know like to do this like next year.
Yeah.
And all that. So we're having them like watch us and like do stuff with us a lot more this year, because like if we just see one of them like sitting like waiting, we just like, hey, come with us and do this, and we're like teaching them a lot more this year.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's fantastic. And so is there anything else you guys are you guys excited for this season? Like the competition at all this year? I this is my first year getting to broadcast from the robotics competitions, and so what are some things that you guys find the most fun during the competition, I guess, and the things that you enjoy the most?
I've always been a big fan of the team spirit and just the atmosphere of the whole event. Because there's so much team spirit for your team to win. It's really fun.
I like scouting and like seeing all like the different robots and the different booths and like talking to the team and like just seeing like the different views on robotics. Like each team is different, and it's like really interesting to learn about like every single different team.
Yeah, I would say also is, I mean, not even like scouting, but just simply looking at the robots. I know collecting buttons is a really big thing. So if it's your first year going, I definitely recommend going around talking to teams, collecting their buttons, or sometimes they'll have other things. Like I know in the past there have been like rubber ducks or little bows or little 3D printed robots. Like that's a super fun thing to collect. As well as like when you get to the actual like stadium, the team chants are pretty fun.
Yeah.
And adding on to Taylor's point here, it is fun to look around and see the different designs of robots, because it's just you just see stuff you don't even think people would try, right? You see stuff that's just you never even thought about because it's just so advanced.
And it's just such a great environment with all the teams there. Like everybody is so nice. Like just like having conversations with people, like they're all so nice, and conversations are great, and it's just a really like fun and inclusive atmosphere, especially down in the pits. Like it's just really fun.
Yeah, that is true. It's probably about the least cutthroat competition you will ever be to in your life. Because if you need wire or something, they'll like say something over the announcement in the pits and you'll have wire within 5 minutes. You know, everybody is so supportive.
Yeah, I bet I can see that, and there's a lot. I was amazed by all the teams that do compete in these competitions, and so it should be interesting. I'm not sure if I'll be going. There's one in I'm not going to be at the one in Duluth. There'll be the one in Grand Forks possibly. But yeah, it sounds like it very, very. It's amazing what these machines can do, and I know you guys put a lot of work into them. Is there anything else you guys would like to add as far as the YLE Robotics Show goes, and just anything you want to do a shout out to anybody out there, anything like that?
Don't have anything to do during winter, join robotics.
Yeah. It's definitely like with sports, like I felt like out of place and like I wasn't like, but with robotics, like there's a job for anybody, and it's like you can feel so included and everybody is like so nice. Like nobody's gonna like not allow you to join robotics, and they're always gonna have something for you. Like there's a place for anybody in robotics.
Yeah. And then I would also just say like us extending a good luck to other teams, because I know everybody's really excited about the events. So just go out there, have fun, and good luck.
Yeah, definitely. It's the Crosby Ironton Ranger Robotics Team 6132 on the YLE Robotics Show. We'll be back with more of the Year Live Event Robotics Show right after this.
Looking for a bank that truly cares about your financial well-being? That would be the First National Bank of McIntosh. Their experienced staff is dedicated to providing exceptional customer service and helping you find the right financial solutions for your needs. From personal to business banking services, they have everything you need to take control of your money. Plus, their commitment to the local community means that your money stays where it matters, right here in McIntosh. Trust First National Bank of McIntosh, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
In today's competitive market, your company needs a manufacturing partner that can deliver high-quality products, on-time delivery, and unmatched expertise. Team Industries of Bagley has been a leading provider of precision machining and manufacturing services for over 50 years. Whether you need custom-made parts, precision engineering, or complete assembly services, Team Industries of Bagley can help you take your manufacturing to the next level. Visit their website today to learn more about their capabilities or give them a call to schedule a consultation. At Winnie Mac School, we're shaping the leaders of tomorrow with dedicated teachers, a strong sense of community, and opportunities to excel in academics, arts, and athletics. We strive to give every student a chance to succeed. From kindergarten through high school, we offer a supportive environment where students can grow, learn, and discover their full potential. Together, we're building a brighter future. Join the Winnie Mac family, where education and community go hand in hand at the Winnie Mac School.
And it's time for the Your Live Event Robotics Show here on yourliveevent.com. Here with Team 4674, the RoboJacks, here with Sam, Connor, and Melody. And we're about ready to get started with week 0. Season's right around the corner. And how excited are you three for the new year?
Excited. The game's looking really fun. I'm excited to play it.
Yeah. It's super exciting now. I mean, it also it is kind of bittersweet because it's my last year of regionals. Hopefully it turns out to be a good season.
And I'm really excited because it's my first year of regionals.
Okay. And for you, just Connor, how long have you been in robotics? Because we heard from the other two.
Yeah, I've been in robotics. I already started Vex in 8th grade. I was in that for a year, and then once I moved to high school, I started this. So I've been in robotics in general 3 years, and just first, I've been in it for 2 years.
Okay. And speaking of this new game, of course, it's kind of like a water theme, and just overall, what's your guys', I guess, favorite thing about it, and what has stood out to you guys so far, just even seeing it, I guess, kind of on the, I guess, the teaser trailer side of things, I should say.
Probably for me, the coolest thing about the game that I think is probably the climbing and then trying to climb on the deep cage, which is only 3.5 inches off the ground. So I think this is that is going to be a challenge, but I think it's a doable one, which will turn out good.
Then I personally like how the teams are mostly cut off from each other, to where this game is probably not going to be as much as a defense game as it is just action, seeing how many points you can rack up in a short amount of time.
Okay. How about you, Melody?
I would agree with Sam about the climbing, and it's been a interesting time trying to figure out how to climb with such a shallow depth.
Okay. And in terms of just like getting your robot prepared for a new event, what would you guys say is the most difficult aspect of it, and maybe your favorite?
Probably for me, the most difficult was planning out where on the robot we're gonna have all of our components because early on we had decided that we had wanted to do the deep climb, so which we had thought we were gonna climb then in the middle of our robot. So pretty much everything on a robot now we had to build around our climber. So that was probably the most challenging thing we had to do thus far in the season.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about your guys' roles on the team. Are you guys builders, drivers, managers? Kind of what do each of you guys do for the team?
So I am one of the senior captains. I'm one of the main builders. I usually work in the machine shop, machining out all of our metal any other different materials we have on our robots. And then I'm also one of the drivers too. So I've been on the drive team for 3 years, and then most likely this year too.
And then I am mostly pretty much just a jack of all trades on the build team. I do a lot of the building. I do a lot of like designing and all that stuff. I also am partly helping with our coding, trying to learn that a bit more. And then I do for this year at least, I've done all the wiring pretty much for the power cables and everything. And then working with our coder, getting all the CAN wires, put everything together.
I'm on outreach team, helping make the essays and figuring out the presentations. I also help with build team in the machine shop wherever I'm needed.
Okay. Melody, you want to tell us a little bit more about outreach? Because I know when everyone thinks robotics, they think of the robot, but outreach is a little bit more different than just, putting a robot together and driving. So you just kind of want to explain a little bit what it is.
So it's multiple different things. Outreach, we talk to our community for like grants or different activities to do with younger VEX teams. We go out to different businesses in our community too, and also showcase our team to get more support from our community so that we can further our robot to, yeah.
Okay, so basically just kind of spreading out robotics to more parts of your community is kind of how you'd explain it.
Also, the unified team is a part of our outreach so that kids that wouldn't probably, it's harder to function on the varsity team because there's a lot more components and it's not as easy for them. So we have a unified team to include them, and we do outreach to the community so that they know when the competition is and whoever wants to join to make them feel more involved.
Yes. So we had started the on the Unified Robotics program, not this fall, but the fall before, and it goes on from around September to November is where we have like a team of 2 to 3. We have one team member on the robotics team and one and then one team member from the Unified who wants to learn about different parts of robotics, and then like the two of them build small Lego robots, and then they like test them out, and then we have a small competition towards the end of November.
It's also grown a lot this year from last year from the outreach team.
Good. And what have been one or two things you guys have done over here? I know, Melody, you mentioned you've only been that this is your first year, but maybe what are one or two things that you guys have done through outreach over the last 1 or 2 seasons?
From what I've seen and what I've looked over, we have had multiple presentations at local businesses. I'm pretty sure one was Bemidji Steel. Yep. And I couldn't name other ones, but that's the one off the top of my head. And we also host things here at the school like robots and brats. It was a fun little get together. Or we've done, I'm pretty sure, around hundreds of volunteer hours and hosting events for things in our community.
Yeah, so for me, throughout my 4 years, I've done pretty much everything from like going to different elementary schools and talking to them about our robots, talking about STEM. We've reached out to businesses, presented for like teachers conferences, and we've had booths at like the county fair and parade floats, just like showing everybody what you can do in the world of STEM and how you can get your kids involved and stuff.
Anything to add, Connor?
Personally, I've only done a few outreach events. I haven't done too many. The one I did do is the Lego, their big tournament here. I helped out. I was helping at the stands.
Okay. And for you guys, what will be the first event you guys compete in here this year? Are you going to be competing in week 0 in Ashby? Are you guys going to the Duluth meet? What are you guys kind of your first event?
So we're going to the week 0 in Ashby, and then our first regional is week 1, and that's the Lake Superior Regional.
Okay. And in terms of just week 0, of course, it being basically the last time you guys use your robot before you start implementing the new one, is that kind of bittersweet for you guys?
Oh, I think you're maybe talking about the conference championship
I
because
am, yes. That is
yeah,
right. Yeah. So, okay, so yeah, I mixed that up. Sorry about that. And in terms of week 0 using this new robot, then what will you guys, is it kind of just like a tester for you guys? Are you guys gonna be trying new things, or you kind of have a good idea what you guys want to do for like strategy wise?
During week 0, we're going to be a lot of testing. We don't have a robot fully done. We're getting it done today and tomorrow. So it'll be a lot of testing, see what works, see what doesn't. Once we come back, get it all fixed, get it ready for our competition.
Is it kind of terrifying to be going into a competition with a new robot that you haven't really gotten to test at game speed?
Yeah, a lot of it is. There's some parts that we were like not sure about if it will work or not, but then there's some that we are testing currently and feeling pretty good by the results.
Okay. And do you guys have any like new students and maybe positions that are going to be kind of maybe driving or out on the field for the first time?
We're gonna have probably a new human player, but in terms of our drive team, we're gonna have a lot of the same people. So I'm one of them. I'll probably be one of our technician. Sam will be our co-driver. Then we have our head driver who's the same. Then we have our I forgot.
our coach who is the programmer. He's been working on the programs for the past 2 years. So he's going to be up there. He's also he's going to be helping us troubleshoot some of the programs if we have issues.
Okay. And what's the goal for you guys here this year? You guys want to get to nationals, win an event? Like kind of what do you guys want to accomplish here personally this year?
So probably my goal after being on the team for this is my 4th year. Make it far into the playoffs because we've only made it into the playoffs a few times when I've been on the team. So then hopefully in our 2 regionals this year we can get far into the playoffs and maybe have a chance to winning one.
Okay. How about for you two?
For me personally, I just want a lot of the same things, getting further in the playoffs, hoping to get picked or even being able to be picked. This year with our current robot, it's looking really good. We finally got like path planner working, so Otto will be able to do this year and create new ones without having to just mess with code. And we also have someone who's mentoring in code this year, so it's looking pretty good to get deeper into the finals.
Okay. Do you have anything you wanted to add, Melody?
No.
Okay. And in terms of just why you guys joined robotics, I know we have a couple of veterans and then again the first year. What made you guys want to first join robotics, and what's been maybe one thing that surprised you about being in robotics?
For me, I had joined robotics in the fall, and to be honest, I was a little skeptical because I didn't know what I was going to be going on because I had only did a little bit of robotics when I was in 8th grade, and I wanted to learn more. But then actually, like as the months went on, I started to really enjoy it. So I'm glad I did.
Me personally, I joined robotics at the start, like during my 8th grade year. I haven't ever found a sport that I like fit into at school. And then robotics I found, and it's just what ticks for me. It's just what works. My brain works in mechanics. I love doing it, and might as well do it for fun, for sport.
My brother is an alumni from a couple years ago, and my family was very big on robotics and still is. My dad is one of the mentors, and I'm really busy with show choir, but my dad really pushed me to join robotics, and at first I didn't want to, but now I'm really glad I did. I was surprised that I fit in because I wasn't really a robotics type of person, machinist type of person. But then I really got into the outreach and talking to the people on the team, and I really enjoy it now.
Yep. And then Sam, I know you mentioned this is your last year. Do you know what you want to do after you graduate?
Yeah, so right now I'm planning to go to the University of Minnesota, and I'm going to major in mechanical engineering. So, and then try to like continue some of the robotic stuff on the side too.
And did being in robotics kind of make you want to go into that?
Yeah, being in robotics, going through all like the phases of designing, CADing, and actually like putting it together. That is what drawed me into mechanical engineering. So.
Okay. And do you two kind of have an idea what you want to do yet, or still thinking?
I'm very much the same. This is how my brain works, so same thing. I might as well do it for a job, just like have it for fun. So I'll probably go into some form of engineering, mechanical engineering or something else. Don't know yet.
I am not on the same page as them. I want to become an endocrinologist, the study of diabetes. It's a doctor that specializes in diabetes and the thyroid and that type of field. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything else you guys wanted to add before we get going here today? Anyone to shout out? Just anything at all?
I don't have anything personally.
No.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for the time here today, and good luck here in week 0 and beyond.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
That was Sam, Connor, and Melody from Team 4674, the Robo Jacks out of Bemidji, here on the Your Live Event Robotics Show.